Hello, everybody, and welcome to Women of Dance. I'm your host, Sharonne Vinokurov, and I'm really excited for today's show. This guest, I have known her for so long. I've known her about as long as I've been in this business. And one of the things that I admire the most about her is she's had multiple dance lives. And as someone who's been in that box, if you will, I really respect the fact that she's put in so much work and accomplished so much across so many styles. So, without further ado, let me bring on today's guest, the lovely and talented Ginny Ray. Hello,
Hey,
how are you?
that was nice.
Thanks.
I
Thanks.
appreciate that.
Oh, my pleasure. Well, it's only the truth, like I
Yeah,
only
like a
speak the
cat.
truth. I
I'm
mean,
like a
you
cat. Just keep
I
those
li
dance lives coming. Lord.
But it's true, when you think about it, and we were joking about this, you have the preartum and the postpartum, but
Yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
it's even more than that when we think about it. Your career, you've been dancing a long time.
Yeah, since I was like able to walk. I mean, that's a
Like, yeah.
childhood thing. I mean, like kids do stuff, and then I just didn't stop doing that thing.
Well, let's take it right from the beginning, right? Talk to me about your upbringing and how dance really came into your life.
um, that had to have been my mom. She was a gymnastics coach, and she saw that the kids that she coached and everything that had ballet, were just a little bit more aware of their bodies and learned physical stuff a little bit easier. So
Mhm.
as soon as I started walking, she was like, "Yay, found the dance studio. You're going to take these, little kids classes." And of course, because she was a gymnastics coach and nobody ever told her not to. While she was pregnant with me, she was still cartwheeling and backflipping and stuff like that. So when I
Mm.
started to like flip off the couch and do stuff like that, she was like, "And you're also in gymnastics."
I love that. I love that. I can just picture baby Ginny now just flipping off of the furniture.
She actually at one point taught me, I think I was a toddler, but she taught me how to like hang my head off the couch and flip my butt over my head and land on my feet. So she would
I
like,
love that.
she's like, "Here, you're gonna do it. Land on your feet."
Oh my god, that's amazing. Well,
Yeah,
thank you to mama for starting this. For
yeah. She
sure.
was she was like, it'll like whether she chooses to do it or not, further on, like it'll at least help whatever she does. That was like a thing. Both me and my sister were like, we got to pick what physical activity we got to do, and
Mhm.
I stuck with gymnastics and dance for quite some time. My sister ended up doing sports. Uh,
Did
and
you
then
have a favorite event in
yeah,
gymnastics?
actually, in gymnastics,
Yeah,
bars and floor. I
bars
mean,
and
because
floor.
of the dancing, my floor was pretty good. I got to like back 1,000 years ago. I got to a pretty decently high level. Like our teams and stuff were going to like Olympic training camps and stuff like that. And I was
Wow.
16, looking at the 10 and 12-year-olds around me, going, I think I can dance a lot longer than I can do gymnastics. So that became that. But I still like to go upside down, so it's still with me.
This is true. This is true. You are a flyer just like me. We do love it, for sure. Nothing like being upside down with your feet in the air.
Yeah.
Okay, so gymnastics got pushed to the side. Focus stayed with dance. Was it just
Um,
ballet at that time, or did you switch to other styles?
so that was high school. Around the time that I quit gymnastics was about like a year later. It's like 16. Yeah, I was mostly ballet.
Okay.
Uh, like modern tap jazz, like all the stuff that comes along with that. Um, I at some point met Daniel, and ended up taking private partner dancing lessons as well in
Mhm.
high school. So that started to come into the mix probably 16, 15, 16
Okay.
around. that sort of time. So that was one of the things that like I had always wanted to do. Like my ballet school was great. Like we got to do all kinds of stuff. They brought in teachers from Joffrey, teachers from ABT. Like we had like growing up as like kids, I had some amazing opportunities there, which was cool. And since like ballet is a good fundament for any kind of dancing, I was like, all right, well, let me just keep with this and see what doors it opens, yada yada. I had always wanted to do partner dancing, but the owner of my ballet school was always like, that's just jazz holding hands, which, you know, we all know it's not.
No, it's not. It's definitely not jazz holding hands.
And I was I think it was like a choreographer's showcase type deal. It was at like a playhouse, and my ballet teacher took me to go see this thing. It was like a whole bunch of different stuff, and Danny had a number in there, and I was like smacking my ballet teacher in the arm, going, "I want to do that." And she's like, "All right, fine." So Danny actually ended up renting space at my ballet school, so I ended up taking lessons from him there,
Very
and
nice.
then I went to college in Philly where his studio is, and then I ended up dancing with him professionally. So like the ballet to the partner dancing was
Mhm.
actually a really smooth transition.
What was the first partner style dance you guys did?
Well, I mean, as a student, like I was his pro-am for a while. So
Mhm,
I did all of the stuff, you know, like it was all of the American ballroom rhythm,
mhm.
smooth rhythm stuff. I think at one point I was a teenager, you know, like group classes, there's never enough men.
Oh,
So
yeah.
as a kid, like I was like, I'll do whatever part. So I think I learned foxtrot from the leaders part first.
Nice.
Before I ever followed it. But yeah, it was like all the things. And then somewhere like shortly after taking those lessons, we Danny was like, "Here, you're gonna try this." I was like, "What is it?" He's like, "It's called hustle." I was like, "All
I
right."
love
I
it.
had no clue, none whatsoever. Did no research. What I was just like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." And
Yep.
then I liked it, obviously.
Really? You're kidding. You like tussle?
Well, you know, I mean, at that time I was like 16, 17. So I'm still in high school, still taking, you know, all my ballet classes. I'm like, you know, studious student. So whatever teacher says
Mhm.
I do, you know. So and then at some point he's like, let's do choreography. And at that point, I met Artie and started doing that more and more and more. And eventually it was like, okay, what do we do with this? And then like one thing led to the next, and they, you know, trained me to, you know, teach lessons and stuff. So I started like with, you know, wedding couples and things like that.
Mhm.
And then next step was to, oh dear God.
You brought him up, so I had to just go to the videos already.
I'm sure he's gonna love that one.
I actually messaged him and let him know that we were going live, so if you're watching, Danny, enjoy.
Yeah, me with black hair for all of the 5 minutes in my life that I had it.
Hilarious, hilarious. It took
Yeah,
me a minute to be like, "Wait, that's Jenny? She's got
yeah,
dark hair."
I know. Yeah, no, one thing led to the next, and Danny and I ended up competing hustle professionally together. So, and that was a very long time.
I'm sad that I can't play the music because then we can't hear you talking, but this
That's
routine, I
fine.
believe it's called Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy.
Yeah, it was like a remix version of Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy, and it was hilarious.
I love it. I
Oh
love it.
my
Talk to
God.
me about experience this whole competition thing, what it was like for you the first time getting into all of this.
So with that's embarrassing.
We all make mistakes. Listen, everybody, I make this a point for everyone to see where
Yeah,
you
but you're still
started.
playing it.
I know. Here, I'll go to this. So it's smaller now. Let's just see if you
Okay,
know.
there you go. No, it's okay. It's good. It's good. I mean, the routine was fun. It was a good routine, and that's actually one that we put together ourselves. So,
Love it.
no, so yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, I was still in high school. I think was my first competition. Like I said, I was dancing as the student, as the am with Danny as pro am. So I did that for a couple of years, and it was um, Disco America and IHSC
Mhm.
that I did for like a couple of years, and then I didn't compete for a couple years after that because I was training and I was actually technically teaching and getting paid for it. So I wasn't like dance wise ready to be out there as a professional, but I was still teaching. So we didn't compete for a little bit. And then we got a routine together and
And that was it?
started doing it professionally. So, you know, we did a lot of stuff.
Did you compete in any ballroom too before you did this?
At that time, no.
It was just
I think I did one competition as the pro in a pro-am
Mhm.
scenario, like some rhythm stuff, but that like one of them.
Gotcha.
Completely different scenario from the salsa and hustle comps and everything. Like it's
Absolutely.
a little bit more geared toward competition, way less geared toward show and social.
I will say though, and one of the things that I love about watching your routines with Danny is even though they're like competition pieces, they're very show. Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, hustle does that. Hustle has that. Uh, and that was Danny's thing. Danny didn't like to do dance just to dance. Like he definitely liked to do there's a story, there's a theme, there's a like beginning, middle, and end, and it had to go together because especially with hustle things, you're not just competing. In fact, there's less competition than there are show opportunities. So it needed to be more show.
mhm,
Plus sometimes with the hustle competitions, the way up in the air, like big crazy tricks and everything, like the tosses and all that stuff.
mhm.
At that time was tending to win a lot of things. So, and we didn't have that. We didn't have the tosses and everything. We had some cool, complicated, like fun, interesting lifts, but we didn't have the big in the air things. So we used what we had, which was actual dancing and storytelling and stuff like that.
I love that. I love that. It's one of the things that I wish more people did with their competition pieces. I don't think that they need to be mutually exclusive. I think
No,
you
they don't.
can put
No,
in
they don't need
stories,
to
but it
be.
doesn't happen a lot, which is unfortunate.
I think. Well, I mean, I feel like they should kind of be different, like depending, because competition is like, look at what I can do in a short amount of time, and shows are let me entertain you and have you remember me so that you will get me to do this again later. You're right. They're not mutually exclusive, but there is, I think, a time to lean towards one and a time to lean towards another.
I again, it makes me sad that I can't play the sound because you guys always had such interesting musical choices. Very rarely was it something that you'd be like, "Oh, this is a typical hustle song."
Oh yeah, no. Uh, yeah.
Sorry, I forgot that was in there.
Oh no. There's another one. This is like that video is super old. I think that was.
That's
I think
2009 Mad Jam.
yeah. I think that was like the second year I was competing
Mhm,
professionally. Maybe third because I think the first year we didn't actually do any routines. We did just the just dance divisions.
mhm.
Um, yeah. that
I did
routine that routine ended up getting a costume change and I wore the heels and like it ended up being a little bit more competitive than that. But actually I have to give the music choices and stuff to Danny because he had some cool things. His music collection was nuts back when CDs were like a thing. He had like a shit ton. It was oh, what kind of music? Ask Danny.
love it. I am gonna play something that's not from your Danny days, but it is an old video. We're gonna take it back right now to your
Oh,
foray into the salsa world.
oh, don't play
Not a lot of people know this, but Ginny and I were on a team together at one point, and while I couldn't find any good videos of us with this group, I did find this video of you and Ginny. I mean, you and Vicky performing together in New York.
Oh yeah, that was when everybody else couldn't do it. Like it was one
Yep.
of those I just happened to be there kind of things. Yeah, that was an interesting thing. So my transition from hustle to like being involved in salsa was because Billy Fajardo was my coach at the time, and he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna need you to go get yourself dirty a little bit. And I know you're in Philly, and I know there's a ton of salsa places, so go dance it." And I was like, "Huh?" And then at that time, Vicky happened to be like running this team out of Top Hat, and I was like, "Well, I can do that. That's choreography." So, I joined that, and through that group, got to meet a bunch of people and uh, get some what looks like very embarrassing.
We had some good times.
I'm wearing a nightgown.
The funny thing is if you really wanna see the good stuff, you gotta go to that Nuevo Tech website. Remember that? Remember Nuevo Tech?
Oh
They had
yeah, yeah, yeah.
all the old videos,
Yeah, yeah.
all
That
our
was
former
that
performances.
was an interesting time. I'm not like really it was cool. Like that's what got me to meet a bunch of people and like get acclimated. I had like a soft introduction to. I wasn't like the person that went into Brazil's for the first time and was like, I I got to go in with a group of people, and Vicky and Jen Peretti were like, this is this person. Like, so I didn't get the like weird creepo vibe when I first went out social dancing.
You had a pack of girls with you.
I did. That was very helpful.
We had solidarity in numbers for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, that was an interesting little transition. So I was told to learn salsa bachata to make my hustle better.
Yeah,
And I
Billy's
think
full of great advice.
I think it actually ended up working out because I, started going out and doing that stuff, and like some of the things, just the being able to, I don't know, unballet myself a little bit. That'll
Mhm.
never go away, but
No, I totally understand what
to
you're saying there.
get to get that, you know, just a different headspace, I guess. It was less performance and more fun kind of thing, let go a little bit. And like after about a year of doing those kinds of things, actually, Danny and I did end up winning um, the Hustle World Championship like a year after that. So that was actually pretty cool.
Yes,
So,
you did,
you
and
know,
I have video of that too, for sure, we'll get to it.
Papa Billy was right.
Papa Billy tends to be right more often than not.
Yeah. Oh, of
So,
course. Of
of
course.
course, this is you guys doing the Just Dance division
Hmm.
at Disco America. For those that don't know the difference, can you please explain to them what the difference is between Just Dance and Showcase?
So, yeah. So, Just Dance is they play music, you dance with your partner. It's supposed to be lead and follow. And it is lead and follow. Like, you don't really know what's coming next. Like, professionals practice their lead and follow, plus, they teach all the time. And, like snazzy stuff we'll throw in there because we can, like that kickover thing,
Mhm.
that generally doesn't happen on a social floor because, like, damage to others, but
Of course.
you can do it on the competition floor. But there's tricks allowed, but no lifts. Um, but yeah, it's lead follow.
I love it, and you can tell this is, like, an older video because look at the quality.
I think it's 2012.
I think you might be right. Yes, Disco America 2012. Correct.
That costume I borrowed.
Did you?
Yeah,
Who did you borrow from?
Issa DeShulo.
Nice.
Yeah,
I've borrowed from her too.
she's got some great stuff, man.
She really does. Man, she has
Well,
saved me more
she
than
did,
once.
yeah, she did some ballroom stuff before, being in Philly. But yeah.
Yes. Yes, she was great with always lending of the costumes and
You know
everything.
what's funny though? Like, I don't think I would be. I think I would be too self-conscious to wear that now.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you say that? You're in fantastic shape.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. Legs, fine.
Legs.
Legs out, fine. It's like a leotard. I don't know.
You're funny. Well, by 2013, you guys had really been taking this world by storm. At this point, you're coming to Mad Jam and you're part of the Superstar show.
Oh, this is the one. This is the one. If you play it, like if the end plays, it's hysterical. It's
Okay.
really funny. I actually did a blog interview for somebody
Yes.
a couple years ago. I think I sent it to you, but in there, I was asked what is my most embarrassing moment in dancing. It had to have been the end of this show. Like, so there's a trick
Mhm.
where it's a snake, and I end up going into a split at the end, and we didn't quite make the trick, so Danny's at that point got like no control. I'm snaking around his leg, and
Mhm.
I didn't quite make it through, so I just start scooching myself on the ground.
Stop. I almost wanna now fast forward to the end just so we
Do it,
can
do
see,
it.
which we will, but I
Yeah,
have to
this was
say
not. This was there's a on there's actually a really good version of this routine done at IHSC in 2000 and
which I'm pretty sure I actually have.
yeah, it's the same routine, just like a better version of it. This was something we put together, Billy put together for us after we stopped competing.
Oh,
So that was
really?
like a retirement piece. We never competed that.
Oh,
Yeah, so up until I think 2012 was Danny and my last year competition.
got it.
Yeah, here it is.
I fast forwarded on
Watch,
purpose.
watch.
Gorgeous.
Oh,
Gorgeous.
Sharonne, you didn't watch these things before you put them online.
Here's the thing, and I'm gonna say it again, right? None of us are perfect. We all started somewhere, and it's important for the viewers, especially those that are up and coming, to know that we've all made mistakes.
Oh my God. And that was like after two world championships. Type.
Exactly. Shit
Yes.
happens.
Yeah.
We do have video of you doing a pro-am.
Yeah. So this one, I mean, it's cool. Like you said, I have multiple dance lives. So like I
Yeah.
grew up doing ballet, ended up doing, partner dancing in the, social, social centric hustle, salsa, West Coast swing, that kind of stuff. But like you learn as you go, and it kind of like follows you. So, ballet is like fundamental. It's a little bit more fun to add another person. It's definitely a skill that you learn doing these kinds of dances to, be able to dance with anybody, anywhere, to anything. That's like a cool skill to have. But that stuff doesn't go away. So Yalmar, a good friend and former student of mine, has or had, dance background from like kidhood, and wanted to.
Kidhood. We need to copyright that. That's a new expression. There you go.
So
Kidhood.
I don't know how old she was. Like I don't know how long ago at this point she had not done it, but like she really wanted to do a little bit more of it. So um, she asked me to do this with her, and I wanted to do it for her as a solo.
Oh, really?
This was meant to be in my head a solo.
Did she
Um,
ever do it as a solo?
she did.
Okay.
She did it for something, and then she was like, I like doing this with you. Can we do it for showcases and stuff? And I was like, yeah, sure.
Do
But
you
it's
love working with students like this in a one-on-one experience?
yeah, yeah. I mean, you get to do different things and try all the stuff, and it's cool having the backgrounds and whatnot that I have, because I could pull from different things depending on what the student needs. This was a really nice experience because we got to know each other, we got to be really good friends, and I think this is the first out of two that we did.
And you mean this was your debut?
Well, this was our debut for this routine. Well, not our. She had done it solo before, but then after this, like I think it was like a couple of years, we did another piece.
Okay. We're gonna stay in the salsa world because at
Oh,
one point you ended up on Cala Luna.
yeah, yeah, that was cool because Danny and I retired from competition, but I still wanted to like do stuff. So Danny and I would get like asked to perform and things like that in places, but it's still, it's not training, and it's
Mhm.
not, like what I still wanted to do the stuff. And Kai Luna had a audition the year after, or like right after they won their world championship.
Mhm.
And I did the auditions and made it, thank God, because that was one of the coolest experiences, dancing with these two girls and the other people on the team as well. But like getting to do stuff with Amber and Loretta was awesome.
And they are also both women that are technically trained. They have
Yes,
dance
yes,
background
actually.
training, so
Yep. Amber went to the same. Amber and I both went to UArts at different times, but we're both. She was a modern major. I was a ballet major. Loretta, I think, like still teaches ballet.
yeah,
So
she does.
this is a cool little mix here. Oh, it was a lot of fun.
I had a I found another one, but for some reason it was a montage and it didn't come through very well, so I decided not to go with it. I just went with this one.
Yeah, no,
Um,
this was good. I think this was Salsa
this was
Fest.
Salsa Fest 2014.
Yeah, yeah. So 2011 and 12, Danny and I won world championships. 2013, um, we didn't compete at all, and then that was when I started like really wanting to do more salsa. So I think I did like some random shows here and there. Brandon and I put together a piece, like, and then audition
They
ended up with Gaia Luna for a little while.
But this was also the same event, so you were still dancing with Daniel, you guys
Oh
just weren't
yeah, yeah,
competing
yeah,
anymore.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
This piece. Mm.
This yeah, this was the one we won with both years.
The
Music is
costumes that you wear. Who back then, who was making them?
um I don't know if you remember Vicky's friend Alicia
I do.
did this costume.
She
I
made
did
this
this.
costume. I had no idea she made costumes. Look at that. Found out something new.
Yeah, yeah, she was making her own costumes when she was doing pro-ams with Yuri. And she made a bunch of other ones too.
Did
Like that
she just
whole
make this one or, like, a bunch of them for you?
just this
Just this one? Who comes up with the design,
one.
the concept?
Yeah, this was just the only one that she made for.
Was it your concept
Well,
of
I
the
think I
costume or
stole the design concept from something I saw
oh, please, we
online.
all
No,
do
I think
that.
I found something on like Latino dance wears or something like that, and
What did we
wanted it
do
in different
before
colors.
Pinterest? What did we do before we had
Google,
those tools to, like, get ideas of other
Google,
people's?
Google Images, I guess.
It's possible.
Yeah, yeah. This was. I think this was Bachata Fest.
Um, let me see. You're right. 2014 Philadelphia Bachata Fest.
Hmm.
There you go.
Yeah,
You
I
showing
got.
off that little tattoo on your torso. What does that to mean? What is that tattoo? I can't talk for some reason.
It's a. It was just. It was just. I'm not gonna put it in the camera. It's a. It's just leopard spots. It's just leopard spots.
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. I got it after we stopped um, competitively dancing because I did. I honestly did. I thought I was just done with competitions unless they were for fun, Jack and Jills or stuff like that.
Mhm.
So you can tattoos count against you a little less if you're not competing.
That's crazy to me that they do that, but at the same time, I kinda
It's
get
not.
it.
I don't think they do it on purpose, but
Oh,
like
no.
it is still a stigma. Although there are people like in I mean the ballroom industry is a little bit more conservative, so there are judges out there who are like, nope, you have a tattoo and it's showing. So it's still a thing, and like I get it, I understand, but it's in an inconspicuous place unless I'm wearing that.
I gotta say, I love a good pants costume.
Me too.
I
Me
really
too.
do, and I don't know why I love them so much, but I really do. Why does it work so well for us?
Because it's like not wearing pants, and you don't have to have something flying around your butt.
Do you prefer something without anything extra, especially when you're doing tricks, or does it not matter to you?
I am not a big fan of all the stuff flying around. My what I love about dancing and competitive dancing is that there is an athleticism to it. It's not
Hmm.
just art. So like give me a leotard or some pants and a sports bra or something like I think my strengths are lie more in the athleticism than the artistic side of things, so let me wear something that shows that off. That's my personal preference, but I'm not like I'm definitely willing to try wearing whatever. I had at one point a costume that was all fringe. It looked really cool hanging on the on the hanger in the closet, but I looked like a car wash.
Oh my God. She
I'm
said
not a
I look
huge.
like a car wash.
I did. I mean, lots of fringe looks like that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I tend to think, I mean, maybe this is just my personal opinion, but all my hustle routines, I wore pants, and I feel like that's because 'cause I'm on the ground a lot.
Yeah, like if you're flying and stuff, the guys need access to all bits and pieces, you know. So it's easier to wear tighter things, but like they'll deal if you've got stuff flying around. The you know partners that we've danced with are good at that, and anybody that's good at putting people in the air, working with somebody who is decent at going in the air, they'll deal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that's and what I like about the hustle and salsa competitions and shows is that
Mhm.
you have a little bit more freedom. I think with the costuming and stuff like that, you don't have to be as conservative with it. Um,
Oh, for sure, there's definitely less conservativeness in the salsa world.
yeah, especially with those, and it still bugs me to this day. The super high cut leotard.
Same, I don't like them. They bother the heck out of me.
I've had, I wore them. I wore one, and it was supposed to be a high leg. And this is why fishnets are your best friend.
Yep.
But at the same time, I was like, I get it that you want to see as much of my leg as possible, but like, that's a thong. I was like, I'm no longer watching the dancing. I am looking at, what's sticking out.
Yep. And it became a big trend as of the like, lately, you're seeing a lot more butt cheeks out on that dance floor.
Oh yeah, I mean, even back when, like, it was a while ago that I danced with Gaia Luna, but all of those costumes were super high cut.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of that whatsoever. I appreciate a nice long leg line, but I keep my butt cheeks
Mhm.
tucked in. My father always, if he would, because he'll watch my competitions afterwards, like they'll watch the live streams, and he'll message me afterwards and be like, "Promise me you'll never wear anything like that."
I mean, if it doesn't distract from the dancing, then fine, you can get away with it. But like, my butt eats things and it looks inappropriate. So I should not be one of the people that does that.
I don't really have a butt, so I shouldn't be doing that either.
Well, you could probably get away with it because there's nothing to like.
Yeah, but does anyone wanna see that though?
Valid.
This conversation's taking an interesting turn.
You had to have known that was going to happen when you asked me to interview.
I did. I knew that this would be an interesting conversation for sure. It's never boring with you.
Uh-huh.
But this is the performance you were talking about.
Yeah, this was at IHSC the year after we stopped competing.
I do love that costume. I could
This
watch it all
one, yeah, I was a
Mhm.
little mad. I was a little mad because I ordered it without stones because I wanted to put my own stones on it, but they sent it with stones, so it's not as good as it could have been. But still in my closet.
Is it really? Are we gonna see it come out, make an appearance sometime soon again?
No.
Just think no. Definitely not. You did at one point, though, dance with someone other than Daniel. In
Um,
fact, this fabulous gentleman is back to being blonde again. Yeah.
this was
Disco
um,
America.
yes, and this was like with Just Dance divisions, because everybody can dance with everybody to anything and whatever, like you can enter with whatever partner. It might not be the partner that you normally practice with, but since Danny and I had stopped competing, I was like, well, I think Jameson and I were like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I'll bring a leotard.
I love it.
So
I'll bring a leotard. Like,
I got some fishnets. I'll be fine.
so funny. This is an interesting costume. I don't remember seeing this, but
So
I love the belting with the stones look.
this was the costume that we. So after dancing with Danny, I danced with Kaya Luna, and then Kaya Luna kind of like went several different directions. And at that time, I was like, well, what do I do? So I started dancing with Kat and K Viva.
I remember
So
that.
that was a costume from a routine that I did with them. Like it was the costume itself was that leotard with like an overlay, a red overlay with some
Mhm.
gloves and stuff. So for that competition, I was like, this will do. But I didn't wear the overlay. I just wore the leotard. Probably shouldn't have. I was not in good shape then.
I thought you looked great, but that's my opinion. We're
So
gonna take it now to the next dance life of yours, your next career with your now current partner and husband.
yeah,
Talk
that
about the
was
beginnings of Ginny and Artem.
okay. So like this thing, we all right. So my family lives in Northern Virginia, and there was a former student, like current colleague of mine, who I taught in Philadelphia, and he ended up at a studio in Northern Virginia. So I did some workshops and stuff for that studio by recommendation of my friend Alex, and that studio was like interested in having me come on staff like full time, having me move. And at that time, I was like, nope, not moving. But since I have family here, I'll give you 2 days a week. So for about a year and a half, I did most of my week in Philly and then did a couple of days in Northern Virginia at the studio. So I like basically lived in two places. About a year into that, they bring him in, and um, we happened to get along, so we just did a couple of numbers for showcases for that studio and ended up having a bunch of them. Like we had like 3 4 routines. So Disco
Mhm.
America uh, had hired Danny and I to dance, which we did, and then asked me if I had like if because Danny and I at that time only had one number. I think maybe we did two. But like they needed more numbers for the show, and I said, well, I have like a bunch of them, just not with Daniel. So this was one of those routines. So Artem and I started dancing, like just doing showcase stuff for studios and things because we worked at the same studio.
That routine is really cute, by the way.
Yes.
It was very, very cute. Who came up with the concept?
Him.
Him?
Yeah, he picked the music. He does that. He picks the music and he does the things. He's very
He does the things. It seems
crafty.
like your male partners are really good with the music stuff.
Yeah. Plus, I'm like, sure, I'll do it. Um, yeah, so after doing a couple of showcases and everything with that, we ended up dating and then living together. I moved from Philly to uh, Northern Virginia to be with him. So we were just doing showcases and stuff. And then we got married, and he was like, let's compete. And I was like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. So he is a international Latin dancer. I mean, he's been dancing since he was a kid too, standard and Latin international. So I have none of that, and he has zero hustle salsa West Coast swing. So where we met in the middle was American rhythm. So we
Nice.
decided to start singing and competing. And it's now been technically 4 years, but we don't count 2020, so three.
Nobody counts 2020.
Yeah,
Nobody counts 2020. I forgot how old I was turning this year because of 2020.
same. Had that conversation with my aunt the other
I'm
day. I
not
was like,
alone.
wait a
I feel
minute,
better.
I don't think I'm that old yet.
This is very stunning. I will say, considering what you said earlier, we are noticing a change in your costumes now that you're in the ballroom world.
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple people that do wear pants in this industry, but I kind of feel like dresses like that. Like this is one of my favorite costumes. I actually
It's
did.
gorgeous.
I did the stones on that. There's like a shit ton of stones on there. It's heavy. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, when we first started competing, I kind of needed to find like a style that was mine. And I like the more plain stuff, but it is a thing to have some movement because like you want to have your costume kind of accentuate all of the body movements that you're doing. So I found this. I mean, recently the styles have changed a little bit more to be like a little bit more um like, for lack of a better word, complicated. So instead of just stones, there's some like 3D effects going on costumes and stuff right now. So I currently have two that are like probably my favorite costumes that I've ever worn ever.
Well, what I really meant was in terms you said that, ballroom is more conservative.
There is a professionalism that
Mhm.
is like more along the lines of black tie.
Yes.
So like this is how you hold your stuff. The etiquette is important. The grooming is very important. It's like paying respect to all the hard work that you do and stuff. So it's more like think of it as like black tie versus cocktail.
I like that. That makes a lot of sense. Black tie versus cocktail. I'm gonna
Yeah,
keep that in mind.
yeah.
I will say though, one of the things that I noticed in that video, because earlier you said fishnets or life or whatever, but a
Yeah,
lot of ballroom dancers don't wear fishnets.
some do, some do.
Are
Um,
you? Because your legs look very tan and gorgeous and not fishnetted.
I can't stand fishnets. If I could never ever wear them again in my life, I wouldn't. But like some people do, especially the cabaret couples with the slides on the floor, you need to have that layer in between kind of thing. But
Oh,
no, there's a makeup that we put on to like.
I have it. I use it.
Which one do you use? Airy
Airy
Joe?
Joe. You too?
Yeah, I've been like dabbling with a couple other ones, but they come off like all over. Like there was the last competition we did in Maryland. There's a snake in one of our routines, and there's like some back bends and stuff. Like his whole pant leg was like brown by our second dance. So
Oh no.
I switched back to the Airy Joe, and the transfer is way less.
Way less.
Yeah.
It was the first one that I discovered where I could literally put it on, wait like 5 seconds, put on my costume and go.
Yeah, did you know also that like if you have to wear it all day, put it on, let it dry, get back in the shower and get yourself wet,
Really?
and then pat dry, and it sets it. It works like a setting spray.
Why didn't anybody tell me this before? Thank you, Jenny. Thank you so much. I appreciate that piece of advice.
But then it's even harder to get off when you do that. So like the
That's a
shower,
big scrub a dub dub switch motion.
what takes 2 hours to like put on makeup, hair, tan takes like three to get off. Yeah,
Oh, especially when we do crazy funky stuff with the hair and
I don't know about that.
yeah, you're lucky you don't know about that. I unfortunately have had to experience all kinds of gunk and the rhinestones in the hair with like the weave glue, and then you need the conditioner to take it out because otherwise it's
Just
like
when I've
ripping
had
your hair. Ugh.
I just left it until it came out on its own.
You are
Wash
smart for
around,
doing the short
wash
hairdo.
around it. I'm fine. Yeah. No, but I mean, like, yeah, I will say that the costuming part of competition and shows and everything is probably one of the more like fun things because you're like, ooh,
You feel pretty.
it's like dress up for adults.
Yep, that's
It is.
exactly what it is. It's playing
It
dress
is.
up for adults.
Yeah, that one. This is probably my favorite costume. It's new. It's
It's
everyone loves.
gorgeous.
Yeah, this one's cool. This competition just happened last weekend. It's a Michigan Dance Challenge. This is the Rising Star Rhythm. So it's actually pretty cool because usually at comps they quarterfinal, semifinal, final, like
Mhm.
they write up on a board who made it to the next round. So you check the board and then beforehand. So in between rounds, there's an NDCA rule that says that we have to have 15 minutes in between. So like a good 10 minutes before you have to dance if you made the final. This event, they don't do that. All of the competitors are back there. So after the semifinal, everybody's waiting back there until their number's called.
So you have no idea. You're just like, "Please say my number. Please say my number."
Yeah, and like number wise, like the numbers on the back, Artem and I were like, Artem's number was the lowest number, so we knew if we weren't called that we didn't make it because ours was the lowest number. It was going to get called first. But yeah, no, this was a good event. Michigan is like, it's a great event. The event director is so cool.
I
He's
just find it so funny because you were like, "I'm done with competition."
no,
And now
well,
not only are you competing, but you're competing in another world.
honestly, I don't think I was done with competition. I would have continued,
Oh,
but
really?
yeah, there's a decently significant age difference between Daniel and I. So, and he owns a studio and has like, he's at that, 2012, he was at a place where he's like, I don't really need to, we've won this stuff. This was a goal that I had, but I would like to do other things like artistically and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I would like to continue to do that with you. But I was at a place where I wanted to continue training,
Mhm.
learning new stuff and not just doing the things that I knew. So, salsa was the easiest way for me to go. And then I ended up getting this job at this ballroom studio and then met Artem, and I like the opportunities were there. So of course I was going to uh, take them and try. Like, I didn't know if I had what it takes to do this. It's like, it's different. There's, the more you learn, you don't know.
Yeah, right?
So
Such a true statement. Oh
it's
my
really
god.
it's really cool to continue doing this. I went like, my dance journey has taken me up a level every place. A lot of times when, ballroom dancers don't want to do ballroom anymore, they then choose salsa or hustle or West Coast or whatever. So they like slide into a thing that's a little bit less intense.
Mhm.
I'm not saying it's not intense. I'm not saying it's less of a thing. I'm just saying that it's harder to like make it
Yes.
in the ballroom industry than it is to, because there's more shows and more like uh, performance opportunities in the other
Mhm.
fields.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's cool that I have been able to build and build.
And this is the final.
Yeah, this is, so what we do is American rhythm. So there's the dances that you and I know of: cha-cha, mambo, bachata, like the authentic Latin dances. And then those dances kind of visited Europe and got balletized, I guess, a little bit.
Mhm.
So that's your international Latin, your cha-cha, samba, rumba, paso, and jive. What jive is like swing. Um, and then you have rhythm, which is something in between of
Yes.
the authentic Latin and the international. So that's what we do. Cha-cha, rumba, East Coast swing, bolero, mambo. So that's the division that we compete. And there are two places where we can actually compete. One is Rising Star, one is Open.
Okay.
Open is like, I guess for lack of a better word, the big dogs. Most of
Yes.
the Everybody can enter Open. So Rising Stars can enter Open, but people who have won Rising Star national championships can no longer compete Rising Star.
Gotcha.
So like, for now we can still compete both, which gives us more opportunities on the floor. But
Oh, for sure.
many couples who can no longer compete rising stars, so they're only in open. They have less chances to be out there.
Of the dances that you guys are doing in the rhythms, do you have a favorite and why? Don't make that face.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like I really this is if Art is watching, he's gonna be like, "You what?" I really I think out of all of them, I think Bolero is the one that I like that I feel the most, but
Okay.
it's the one that I feel the least confident with. I
Fair.
like I like rhythm because it's quick and it's athletic. Like that's the thing that I really like about dancing in general. Like
Mhm.
yes, our artistic telling stories and blah blah blah, but like let me out there and let me jump high, let me spin fast, let me like
Mhm.
do the stuff in makeup and heels.
And exactly. Makeup, heels, and a pretty dress with stones.
Yeah, for dancing.
Speaking of, you have taken on a task lately. I've been seeing a lot of costumes you've been stoning, and you've always been, like, making stuff. I think you made me leg warmers one year.
Yeah, I mean I'm crafty. I you know ballroom dresses, costumes, any of the performance costumes, inexpensive, like they are. So
Mhm.
if you have access and skill enough to do it and have your own stamp on it, then like I wanted to try that. Now my skills are no longer up to the standards that I need to that my costumes need to be. So I'm doing less of that for myself at this moment because I'm like still trying to find like a style sort
Mhm.
of for myself. um, and once I figure out what that currently is, maybe I will attempt again. But no, like the jewelry and the I don't have anything
Like the
sitting.
accessories, the bracelets or whatever. Do you
Yeah,
make
jewelry
those?
necklaces. These, no, these are. I think these were a gift. But yeah, like I'm sitting right next to my craft desk. That's why there's nothing up here right now. But yeah, like the crazy jewelry and the earrings and the necklaces and the hair pieces and stuff. I do that.
Yeah. I think a lot of us actually during COVID started playing around with that because I used to never do anything, and during COVID, I started making my own accessories
I've
because I was
always liked
bored.
to do it. When I worked for Estilo, there was a couple. I think it was like Brandon's performance class at one year. I did all the stones for that whole team.
Nice.
Like I like it. I like doing that kind of
A
stuff.
nice glass of wine, something binging on, like, the iPad, and you just go.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
we've all done a lot of stuff. Do you make sure to, have the window open so you're not inhaling those fumes on
No, no, because you don't have to use. Okay, E6000. That I do have.
Yes.
E6000 makes a glue that is not smelly, so
Nice.
you don't like need to use that stuff. This is actually washable. Like my costumes, the ones that I did, I put right in the washing machine.
Really?
Mhm.
Imma need you to take a picture of that and send it to me, please, because I'm gonna
Well,
have to buy that for sure. I'm
well,
gonna need it. Um, yeah, I mean, you always look beautiful out on stage. I've been loving watching your stuff. Um,
it's cool. It's definitely something that I didn't think that I would get the chance to do, but I am really fortunate to have a partner and slash husband who is supportive of it and does it with me. You know what I mean?
is he sitting right there watching you?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's playing video games.
Typical man. There was a really cool experience you guys had. Unfortunately, I was not able to air it in here. Didn't you guys go audition for a TV show?
Yeah, so we auditioned for I don't think that TV show is no longer on the air in Ukraine. I mean, I think they took down a lot of the videos and stuff like a while ago. But yeah, we went to Ukraine and auditioned for So You Think You Can Dance There.
Is Artem from Ukraine?
No, he's from Moscow.
He's from Moscow. Oh, my mom is from Moscow. Hi. But okay, so what was that experience like?
Oh, for me, strange because I spoke no no Ukrainian, no Russian. So I'm just like, if you had ever seen the videos, it's me going, huh?
I've seen them.
Yeah. And like, I was so sick
Oh no.
until we got there. I just felt so gross. I don't know if it was something I ate on the plane or whatever. It was a cool experience because we flew there, spent the night, danced all day the next day, went and walked around the city and saw a bunch of really cool things, and then went home. So we were only there for 2 days.
You just fly halfway across the world for 2 days and come back.
Yeah, one of the judges on that show, what was interpreted to me was, so why are you here? Why are you doing this? And my answer was, why not?
Exactly. Why not?
Pretty sure that's how my career got to where it is now. You want to try this? Yeah, why not? You want to try this? Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I understand that for sure.
Once I like try something, I'm like, feel like I can probably be better at this.
It's fun to wanna try new things and to push ourselves, and I think that's one of the things that I really respect about you is that you're always pushing yourself. You're always challenging yourself. We see the work that you're putting in, you share these videos, I see the competent like, you look fantastic out there. I'm really excited for what you're doing in the ballroom world now,
Yeah,
and
it's
I
fun. I mean, it's
I
fun,
really
and
can't wait to see where it goes from here.
yeah, I mean, it's fun. The people are cool, and everybody works just as hard. So like, you're surrounded by like-minded people, and from all over the place. And it's just like any of the congresses and everything. You have friends from all over the country, and you see them at competitions every weekend. So it's actually like a nice camaraderie thing going on there too. And it's like just like any other dance thing. You're always around people, and surrounding yourself with like this, that, and the other. It's a constant exchange, and I think that's probably my favorite part of it, I guess. The constant growth because of those around you, and everything you learn along the way, which is cool. And I'll, keep doing it until my legs fall off.
Yep, that's how I feel.
Or
But
until somebody says, you should maybe not do that anymore.
yeah,
Because
but
it might,
knowing you, I feel like if someone told you you shouldn't do that, you would be like, "Screw you, watch me."
depending on who it is, like if somebody like, no, I don't think I would fight that. I would step back and look and go, okay, who is telling me that? And are they right?
Okay,
Because if the
fair.
first thing you say is screw you, then you don't learn anything. So if somebody says maybe you should not do that anymore, I'll be like, but I want to. That would be my first response.
But I want to. Fair enough, fair enough. Well, before we run out of time, what do you have coming up? Do you have anything exciting that we should keep
Oh
an eye out
yeah,
for?
so we talked about that yesterday. It's cool that you are asking me to do this now. We are actually, for any of my Philadelphia friends that I may still have, we are dancing. We're dancing the Philadelphia Dance Sport Championships next weekend. So the 7th, 8th, and 9th, we'll be dancing there. That's our next
Yay, she's coming home, guys,
third 2 days.
for 2 days. Listen, it's still home.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's down by the airport, so there's no city stuff.
Yeah,
So,
no, there's no city stuff by the airport.
but yeah, I like, it would be cool to see some people in the audience if anybody wants to come.
And how can people get tickets for it?
It's I will share the link to the competition website on my Facebook.
Sounds good. And for
It's
everybody that's been watching, Ginny's information has been scrolling along the bottom the entire time. So you can follow her on Facebook at Ginny Ray and on IG at Ginny La Cara. Oh, there we go. PDC. Oh, that's my dance company's initials.
Philadelphia Dance Sport Championship. I will
Love
put
it.
it on there. Yeah, we're dancing Friday and Saturday night there.
Wonderful.
I will have students during the day as well. So like, it's an all weekend thing. So pro-ams during the day, pro stuff at night. Yeah, so that's
Okay.
our next one.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, hopefully we'll be able to see you when you are here. That would be awesome. All right. Well, before you go, last question that I ask everybody. If there was one piece of advice you could give to women who want to make it as professional dancers, what would that piece of advice be?
Um, I would say I was just going to read this off because somebody had asked me this before, but like it all kind of boils down to never stop learning. Never stop learning. Like you can choose a career path and um, learn what you can about it or whatever, but just because you've made your um, let's say you want to be a professional dancer and like 1 month everything that you did is now paying all of your bills. You're now paying all your bills with your dancing. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have like made it as a professional. Yes, that's the definition, but you always want to keep learning, keep surrounding yourself with people who you can learn from, take advice where you can use it, and never assume that you've made it because there's always something more. So yeah, anybody that wants to be a professional dancer, don't stop learning. Like keep the progress going. Otherwise you get stagnant, and then it's when somebody will say, maybe you should not do
And there it is. We've come full circle. I love it. I love it. Well, Ginny, thank you so much for giving your time and for sitting down and talking with me today and sharing your story with everybody. It's been really great to catch up with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure you tune in next week where my guest is going to be a pioneer in the salsa industry, Miss Amanda Estilo. So that'll be an interesting show. I'm excited. Ginny, again, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, everybody who tuned in today. I'm your host, Sharonne Vinokurov. This is Women of Dance, and I will see you all next week. Bye.
See ya.